Hey YouTube, I'm Leah Lauder, Mega Church Cult Survivor, and I'm live. I'm on live on TikTok, and I'm about to go live on Instagram as well. Instagram, hey, it's Leah, your favorite Mega Church Cult Survivor, and I'm actually live on TikTok and I'm live on YouTube all at the same damn time. I think it's important that we keep some of these lives, guys. And wait, I need to change my background. I am taking live guests as well. I don't know how it works on YouTube. Oh no, I didn't save it. Oh, never mind. All right, I don't know how it works on YouTube, but if you want to request, actually, there's no one on here yet. I have to wait this recording. When you see it later, if you do want to request, just request and we'll figure it out. All right, so welcome Instagrammers. What I want to talk about today is daddy issues and emotional manipulation in church. I don't want to say, because I don't want to say church to brand every church. So I'm going to say in church cult settings or ABUSIVE churches. And what inspired the topic today was that there's a guy that's been running around in these streets. I don't even know what his name is. I remember that the church he's a part of there is World Changers Network, and his pastor is, I think is it Jeremiah Babatunde? I think that's the pastor's name, Jeremiah Babatunde. So this is the new church. Do you know what? I'm not going to put too much of my energy into this. Hey, B Gotti. I'm not going to put too much of my energy into this, but what I will tell you is that I have been looking into the church, and it's just giving false doctrine. It's giving false doctrine, uneducated. It's giving miseducation of everything, and it's giving misogyny as well. So if you're not following my backup count, Leah Lauder 707, you're a survivor. Oh, okay. Which church, T? Guys, there's so much tea going on in these online mega church cult streets. I don't even know where to start. But you know what? I was going to start with the daddy issues topic. But you know what? Oh, from NGRM. Wait, hold on. Is that my tea? Is that the one, or is this a different survivor? What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a little bit of breaking news of what's been happening this week. Yeah. And then I'm going to get into the topic because there's been a lot going on. This live is just going to be for an hour, guys. I've got to be strict. I've got until 11 a.m. So there's some breaking news. If you remember, guys, if you're following my content, I exposed a story about a girl who came forward to say that Albert Ofori, I think of River Court Church, had been essaying and the M word, a young woman who's now come forward and basically exposed him, right? But guys, catch the tea in all of this. Yeah, she mentioned me in the video saying that I got paid to put up a picture of Albert Ofori. I don't even know what this girl's talking about because I don't even think I've done content on this geezer. I think I've shown the picture because there were a few survivors that had cult hopped from a certain church cult to this church. So if a survivor is attending another church, yeah, I will always like question that place where they are. Do you know what I mean? Because in cult psychology, ooh, Ines, she sent me a star. Thank you, my love. I will always question that church because in cult psychology, it says that 95% of cult survivors will church cult hop for the next 10 years. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm on live on YouTube and TikTok. So they will, so that they will church cult hop. So it's alarm bells for me because it's like, oh, okay, is that a cult? Is it a cult that you've just like cult hop to because this is what you're used to? So, you know, guys, alarm bells ring. So that's why I started to look into this Albert Ofori guy. But when I put it out there, I didn't get people coming forward. So I left it. Now this girl's come out, but she hasn't come to me. Do you get what I'm saying? She's gone to this guy with his 1 million subscribers and whatever. She's gone on there saying I got paid for photos. If I did get paid for the photos, can I please get my check? Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? Because I've had to rebuild my life from the jump up, because from the jump, because this cult thieved absolutely everything from me. And I weren't essayed in there, but I was sure as hell I was financially exploited, like rinsed out. No, but please, let's speak on it more. Maybe one day I will. Ooh. So someone's on here saying that they're an NGRM survivor. She said, I'm traumatized from church now. Yeah, girl. Do you know what? Do you know what's so crazy, T? Let me tell you something, yeah? If I wasn't using all of my devices, I would have actually shown you something, because I caught Mrs. CC Apawa on a live the other night. And you know how good God is? Share the live. I got just the end bit. You know, when she was putting her account details up and doing up all the selling for blessings and things like that. So I've actually got that footage ready and waiting. It's in my drafts on my Leah Law the 727 account. So what you've actually done for me today, because I want you to know this, is you've spurred something up in me to be able to complete that content and put it out. It's like the Lord is speaking, the Lord is speaking, is speaking, is speaking, the Lord is speaking, is speaking. Oh my gosh, guys, I am the guys. You know what? I've always thought I was a soprano, but my spiritual father, my spiritual daddy, he told me when I first started singing that actually, no, I thought I was an alto, and he told me that I was a soprano. Do you know that? And he always used to get me to sing with a soprano, so he helped my range. So yes, girl. So I'm going to get a bit of NGRM content out for you, my love. Yeah. So I'll do that by the end of the day, just for you, T. You're welcome. So there's been a lot going on. So now with that girl, yeah, obviously she said that I'm getting paid for the photos and whatnot. Yeah. So it's just, guys, it's just giving that she's not stable. Do you know what I mean? And, it wouldn't surprise me if, I don't know. I don't know what happens from here. She may be of need of higher tier, like mental health support, because that's what it's given. And it's so sad, guys, because I'm not discrediting what she said, because I would never discredit a woman that's saying that she's been essayed or raped or whatever the case may be, but it's just that we have to question her mental capacity at the moment to speak out. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's why I just want to urge all the survivors, like, I don't know if there is anyone else out here doing this. As far as I know, I don't think there's anyone else that's dedicated their lives to the cause and is talking to survivors and trying to help and deconstruct them and whatnot. One thing about me, guys, is that there's ethics. There's ethics to everything I do. You have to remember, I'm a qualified social worker as well. I'm not just out here. I'm not just outside in these streets trying to get a story. Do you know what I'm saying? When survivors come to me, there's an assessment process that I have, that I go through when I speak to survivors. There are survivors that I have had to say, no, you can't come on the live. You can't. I don't think it's, from a safeguarding perspective, I can't allow you. Like, there was a survivor that ended up going into like full-blown psychosis. Do you get what I'm saying? And this survivor really wanted to come on and expose the cult and do this and do that. And I had to draw back, and I had to actually stop going on live for that period, just so that the survivor didn't jump on. Oh, did you go through psychosis? Girl, we all have. This is what I'm saying. That's what they do. Morning nails, that's what they do. They put Insta, get into your comments. That's what they do. They push you over the edge, like, because you can only survive in the self-sealing system. Oh, thanks, Shantz. I appreciate you. Ines, did you see that person that needed to get blocked? Look, Zion, just block them up for me, please. Since I've left, I've been healthy. Doctors had to put me on, on meds. Yeah. That's what will happen, girl. And that's what I urge people to do up. Thank you. Oh, Ines, you blocked him at just the right time. He just tried to get in that comment, but Ines, do you know the energy that you're giving? Yeah, it's just giving baddie. It's giving. It's. I feel like you're like my twin. You match the energy. And Bev in the cup. Yeah, real baddies in the cup, modding it up. Just block them up. We don't have time for it today. If you just get a little sniff, just block them. Yeah, because they don't like that I'm exposing it up, but I'm gonna expose it up. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, from the AM, because you know why? They're not doing church right now. Do you get what I'm saying? They're not doing church right now, so they've got a bit of free time, especially the ones who like the wannabe ones, the ones who are just in. They're in the intestine of the pastor's tummy at this point. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like they feel like they have to be doing the most and some, because in there you've got to be a follower. They turn you into a follower. So even if you're in that, but you know what? They're so smart, because they manipulate, gaslight, and use reverse psychology to make people believe they're leaders. Oh no, Nancy Nels is 30, man. Can you unblock him, babe? No, man, Nels is 30, yeah. I think you did that by accident, girl. Let me unmute him. Guys, I just got to bring someone back. Not Nels, chair. No, Nels is 30, babe. He comes on all the time. It's all right. Anyway, I need the mods to be like this. I know Nancy's on it, chair. Yes, girl. All right. That's the energy we need, though, Nance. I prefer that we were blocking each other because we're so on it. Yeah, that's what we need. All right, let me just, you know what? It's firing up in there, chair. I would have spared them if they apologized. if they apologize, but they just discarded me like I was human fecal matter. Yeah, that's what they do, girl. That's what they do, girl. A narcissist loves to discard. Guys, TikTok, like up the live here. Let's get to 10K, because guys, we need to get to 10K every live just to be safe. And that doesn't even guarantee us. And Ines is here literally just holding it down with the gift chat. You know, if we didn't get these guys, that most of the lives would be luck off. Do you get what I'm saying? So guys, please, if you're here, like up the live. Hi, Leah. Thanks for your obedience and courage. Although I'm not familiar with the churches that you typically mention, cults are prevalent everywhere. Ooh, yeah. And I don't know if you're still here, Queen. I've probably taken so long, but if you come across the recording after, you write absolutely eloquently. I love the way you've written. If only, you know, and this is the thing, like that, you know, I have to deal with a lot of trolls who come in. I can't even understand what they're saying half the time when they're typing chat. Do you know what I mean? So it's lovely. It's refreshing to get a really well-written little paragraph on social media to just, you know, just watered my soul. Thank you so much. Lovely. So back onto what I was saying. So it's just, guys, it's just an absolute mess at the moment. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, when survivors come forward to tell my story, it's not like, oh yeah, oh my gosh. Even if a woman had come to me, she's told me that she's sleeping with this top high profile pastor, and she comes with bare receipts. Thank you, Haynes. She comes with loads of receipts. She's got this, that, and that. I'm going to be going through like, how is your mental capacity? And I never ask survivors to share, you know, their story. They come forward and say, oh, Leah, I want to share. Like, more time, I'm just taking their accounts, looking at their receipts, and then speaking on their behalf. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's the main thing. But I assess it to see if it's okay for me to put the information out. That's why after that survivor started going into psychosis and got sectioned, I stopped. I didn't put up any more content about them. I didn't make any more content about that situation. And I offered my support. I came offline and I started offering my support to the family, like at that intervention crisis point, giving them information, advice, and guidance towards, you know, what I felt they should do, like from a professional lens. So I'm not just out here, you know, they're out here listening to their pastors who are liars. So they think that I'm, you know, this crazy girl that's on the net, but I'm an extremely educated woman. I'm a professional in my right. Do you know what I mean? I'm a specialist in many areas. So how I treat this is with the same ethics and the same skill that I would apply to all my work. Ooh, thank you, baby. I get gifted on TikTok. Thank you, Queen Ines. The same way I would in my professional work. So I just want to say that to survivors, like, be careful who you're going out there and you're sharing your story with. I'm not being the gatekeeper of cult survivors and saying, oh, come to die, Leah, and Leah alone. I'm not saying that. It might be that you're not even at a stage to come and speak to me necessarily. Go and get some support from a medical health professional, or, you know, therapy, if that works. But remember, people with personality disorders, you know, you'll need more emotional regulation treatment and therapy. So your normal kind of talking therapy, even EMDR, all of those types of therapy, they won't work for anyone who has undiagnosed or misdiagnosed personality disorder. Okay, guys, I thought I'd throw that in there. Oh, Nels, you got blocked by accident, babe. You know, because the trolls were coming in heavy. So I unblocked you. Sorry, my love. It wasn't. All right, Nels, you know what? I'm just going to make you a mod so it doesn't happen, all right? Because, you know, Nels, I've got a soft spot for him, man. He's been supporting the ting for a while. Nels, you're a mod now. Yeah? Look, he's laughing. All right. So then we've had that situation with this girl. Now there's been another situation with this geezer. I can't even remember this guy, this little boy name. Like up the live, you lot. But it's some guy, some geezer. He's from World Changers Network, Church Call. I thought he was from Caris because he reposted quite a few little Caris things on his TikTok when I was pre-ing it. But I didn't pre the Instagram. But this is how it's all meant to be, because obviously I thought he was going to Caris and he didn't say anything. You know, usually they'll be like, oh, I go to this church. They're not DUMB. And do you know what he did? He blocked me, you know. He blocked me. Oh, I've already made you one. He blocked me from, oh, can't you just help me out, Nels? Come on. He blocked me from the other, you know, like all my accounts. He's literally blocked me across. What I need you to understand is this guy blocked me across all my accounts before he made this video. So I could only see the video through my burner account. Can you imagine? So when survivors were sending me the video, I wasn't even seeing what was coming up. So that's how sly they are. Don't you know we got a whole movement? Like, there's bare survivors out there. You think because you blocked me, I'm not going to find out about your little video. But obviously I can't stitch him and whatever. And then do you know what this guy's proceeded to go and do? He's proceeded to go and be reporting up my videos. And you know that doesn't sit well with me. Oh, okay. Yes, Nels. Oh, thank you. Thank you, sweetie. Yeah, so you lot, man, he's, you know, I don't like my videos getting reported and having to go through submitting an appeal, and it just rubs me up the wrong way, child. I put so much into the comments, the content. So when they do that, I just start going into this tunnel vision mode. But I don't know if he knows about me. Do you know what I mean? So obviously he's proceeded to do this up. So now I've just decided to look into his church a little bit more, and it's just the same thing. It's the same false doctrine. It's the same spiritual father rhetoric. Because I think his pastor, the leader, is this guy called Jeremiah Babatunde. But I don't know if they're part of a wider network of churches, because I think there's this I think it's called, is it World Harvest Changers or something, with I think it's Wale, is it Wale Babatunde? There's another church that they're connected to. So this Jeremiah Babatunde, his spiritual father is this Wale guy. Yeah, so this is what I found just from preying on the Insta. That's why I don't know why they're messing with me, because I come from a mega church. That's why I told you, you little churches, you need to sit this one out. Do you know what I mean? Because I come from a mega church of over 3,500 churches, and they I have to be so careful because of TikTok, but it's affecting them a lot. So you lot with your 20, 50 people and your 200 strong small churches, I just don't understand why you felt the need to have to go and be doing up content talking about us as survivors. The churches are not cults. People don't want to be spiritually accountable. How do you know what a cult is? You come and do us a video talking about cults and church cults. If you can get a definition, because there's not one out there, my love. I'm currently defining what a church cult is, writing a book on cults with my MA in social work distinction and my youth and community work first class, with my research piece on black youth crime and the pathologization of the black male, as well as my piece on adverse childhood experiences, and what propels young people into a life of crime, coupled with my work experience in working in secure estates across the United Kingdom, developing and rolling out youth services and managing those across multiple estates, including Cookham, including ISI, I'm going to say because I can't say the rest, including Rochi, including Cookham, including Medway, including Elmley. Don't play with me, my love. I'm not the one. So I've got a lot of experience, a lot of professional experience, and I'm just an absolute expert in my field. So this book is really, really going to help a lot of people to become aware and understand exactly what they're doing up in there. So when you're saying, oh, people don't even know what cults is, a definition, what I'm trying to understand is, are you not hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth? Hey, Ange, morning, my love. And this is why I said to you lot, I'm not here to try and save anyone that is currently attending these church cults. The indoctrination when you're in there is mad. Look at how intelligent I am. I'm a highly intelligent woman, but yet they managed to indoctrinate me and keep me trapped in this self-sealing system for 18 years. So when I came out and I was started to speak out, it's never been in my mind, a part of whatever that I'm doing up, to say, oh, and also T, are you still here? Because if you want to message me, babe, you can message me, It's never been my intention to get people out. I've always been like, I'm here for the survivors, the people that they discarded, the people that they left to unalive, the people that they didn't human fecal matter on, the people who are in the wilderness, in the trenches, just trying to just stay focused to just get through the day without saying I can't take it anymore. These are the people that I'm here for. I'm not here for y'all. So this is why I don't understand why you guys feel the need to come into the space and be reporting up and doing up whatever you're doing. It's absolute insanity that you would feel the need to have to stop. Why not just scroll? I see all your posters all the time. RPF are on here Monday to Sunday, doing up their lives. CC and Onyeka are on here begging for bread every single day with their account details up behind them. I see Creflo Dollar on here. Do you know what I mean? There's loads of, there's just so many false prophets that just, yeah, chair. Yes, Shants. There's so many false prophets. All right, girl. Did you message me recently? Because can you message me again, T? Just so that it's at the top of my messages, please. If it's not too much trouble. Like, and I just keep it scrolling. Like, why they feel like they have to come on here and be like, it's not for you. Do you understand? It's not for you, babe. I'm not here for you. I am here for survivors. You lot are happy where you are. So stay there and be there. Or be there, Charlie. Be there in your church and be serving the Lord and working. Work, Charlie. Why you feel like you need to be on hair cry? I don't know. But you have things to do. You have visitation. You have prayer. You have intercession. You have counseling. You have people to visit. Why you feel like you have to be here? I don't know. And why you're here? It doesn't make any sense, child. Don't let me have to start going into my cult jargon. Is that what you lot want? Because it don't make no sense. Nothing we're saying is for you. You're severely and heavily indoctrinated. You see these pastors as gods. You see these pastors as prophets, that every word that they speak, you believe. You're totally and severely indoctrinated. What I'm saying is going to get you riled up. What I'm saying is going to upset you because it's not for you. So common sense, which you don't have because you've been indoctrinated, would tell you to just scroll on. But because of the severe indoctrination, it's like the alerts are going off now. We must protect the cult. We must by any means necessary not have anything about our pastor and our God servant. And it's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, just free yourself, man. Do you know what I mean? Go and do something for yourself, baby. Get out of this cycle chair. So we've got this guy who's come up now. And guys, do you know what? Yeah. Survivors, I want to say, I know how triggering it is. Do you get what I'm saying? When these severely indoctrinated people come on and speak, and and they do their videos, and a survivor who sent it to me originally, but remember I told you he blocked me off every account so that he could make his little video. You know what this survivor said to me? She said, Leah, do you know what the most triggering part about this is for me? And I said, what, love? And this was on voice notes, but that we talk like, what I'm like, the aunties, we talk like we're on the phone on WhatsApp, Jaya. And this survivor goes to me, do you know what the most triggering part is and the most distressing part that gets me so down and depressed is that when I was in the cult, I would have believed what he, not believed, she said something like, I would have agreed, that was it. I would have agreed with what he was saying. And this survivor came out to say that it's so ridiculous. None of it makes sense. It's just, it's just like, you've got to have like no common sense whatsoever to be like listening to someone like that and agreeing. That's what she said. And like when she said it, I started like in it, bridging the gap. I started reflecting on it because remember there was that girl. Oh, thanks, Nels. There was that girl that came out in my cult and she was doing that whole script. And people were saying it looks like she's reading from a script. Do you remember? It was mad. And I got so triggered to the point where I was like shaking. And then I realized, oh my gosh, like that's what it is. Because I could see myself in her. Because I can't see myself in that ninja chair. Because that is, I don't even know what to say that is, chair. But in the other girl, I could definitely see myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I could see other survivors in her. So it was extremely triggering for me. So anyway, this got me thinking, guys, because, oh, guys, you know what it's like? It's like, Leah, you can't even just get a cup. You're on live. But I just need a lot of water when I'm speaking. I can't, you know what I mean? All right. So it got me thinking. Because when this guy started speaking out, I knew there was something fundamentally wrong with him. And it was the video was just so distressing and so disturbing that I said, I've got to try and find out what church cult he went to. But because he was just reporting up the videos and he weren't actually responding to like back his church, or I didn't see Charis members start coming in, in an influx. Because you know how Charis are, their culture's like the same as my cult. So it's like if you say anything, there's a certain culture, but these people, they're very sly. And I think it's a smaller ministry. So when I didn't see the Charis lot coming in and backing it, alarm bells started to go off. So I started to say, oh, okay, so you're not in Charis. So it made me start to investigate a little bit more. And that's when I found that he's part of this world, I think it's World Changers Network. with this Jeremiah Babatunde guy. And then when I went on the page, the first video that I saw, and if you haven't seen my content, guys, please go and check it out. Hey, Kaylee, morning, my love. Basically, do you know what? Let me play it, actually. Because I think if I play it, it just got me so angry. All right, guys, you know what? I'm going to have to play it off my... actually, 1 minute. I think... Oh, I don't even have the recording. I'm so unorganized on here. Let me see if I can find him on here. Let me just give an overview as I'm searching. So basically, the overview was that he was basically talking about daddy's girls, yeah. But the way he even did the video, it was a bit like, you know, like clickbait. Oh, here he is. Yeah, I think it was one of the first videos that he did here. Oh, yeah, this is it.
Your unaddressed daddy issues are stunting your spirit.
All right, I'm just going to play it. So this is Jeremiah Babatunde from World Changers Network Global.
Your unaddressed daddy issues are stunting your spiritual growth. When a child is born, the first revelation of who God is should be exemplified or expressed through how a child relates with their parents. And so when if a man abdicates his responsibilities or abandons his responsibilities, it distorts the perception a child has of who God is. So because of an absent father, it's very difficult to understand and relate with God. Why? Because you've had to be overly independent. So there are many of you that can't even rest in God because all your life, because of the absence of a father, you've had to feel like you've had to fight and struggle for everything to come to you. And so even when God wants to hand something to you, it can't come to you because the mentality you have is such that you reject anything you haven't fought for. How will you believe God loves you when the first revelation of the love of God to you abandoned you? Your unaddressed daddy issues are stunting your spiritual growth. When a child is born, the first revelation of who
I think
God
it's
is...
gone back to the beginning. All right, so this is absolute human fecal matter. We should know he's talking human fecal matter because he looks like human fecal matter, you know, them ones. But the daddy issues thing, I'm just gonna break this down. Lay your roof is do you know, like I've done, if you lot haven't gone on Leah Lauder 707, my 707 account, I've reposted it. So please, guys, go and support up that content, man. Go and support that content on my Leah Lauder. It's my Leah Lauder 707 account. It's Jeremiah Babatunde from World Changers Network that seems to think that girls with daddy issues are damaged, that we don't have a personal relationship with God, that we've got this independence. And again, do you see it's going into the misogyny? Because even though he's not said she or he, it's given that it's a feminine, you know, like a misogynistic lens. That's why even if you look at the post that I put up, I've even used a little boy in it. But anyway, let's talk about it, innit? Because I've never had a dad growing up, but one thing I have had is my father in heaven. Let me tell you that's on period point blank. I've always looked at God like my actual dad. When I've wanted something, it was God I was going to praying for. This was before church. This was before I stepped foot upon church. Before me, I discover a Pentecostal church. Me, I look to my God and cry out to my Father, Lord Jesus Christ in heaven. I was upon my knees crying out to the Lord Jesus Christ. That's what me I do. You understand? And you want to be trying to do up. And this is what they do when you go in the church, in these church cults. They break you down. They make you forget. So like it was when I came back to self and I started to unpack it and I started to come to this realization, you know, and guys, please remind me to stay calm. Guys, like up the live. It's not enough on TikTok. It's not enough. You've got to like it up, guys. I started coming back to the realization of self. Like when I used to speak to God, do you know what I mean? To the clouds. You know, my dad wasn't there. I used to cry out to God. Like I had this, and I still do to this day. I've got such a special relationship with God, where I see God as my provider. I was crying out to God when, you know, my mum didn't have enough to make ends meet. There is such a profound, deep, special relationship that people have who haven't had fathers in their life. It's only God that you got. It's only God that you got. But you see how when you go into these manipulative environments, it starts to turn into, it's the antithesis of that. So they just throw it, they just rubbish it, like any personal type of relationship that you've had with God, like, you know, all of the personal things that you do. So for example, one thing, and I told this survivor, and Hannah, and when she comes on, she always references this. Yeah, I said, go out into nature and take your Bible and allow the wind to just blow the pages in your Bible. And actually next week I'm going to go to my spot. I go to these mountains. You know, I said to you that you got to have a spiritual spot where you just go. And guys, you don't need to believe in God to do this. It could be for mind, body and soul, to go and ground yourself. And this is why I use words like grounding and meditation. And so it's not as triggering for people. And I just take my Bible and I just allow the wind, you know, to just blow the pages, and whatever it falls on, that's what I take as my message from God to myself. You know, stuff like that, they would rubbish. Oh, what is that? You need to do a microscopic Bible study. You need to have the dictionary out and look at, they take away that innate thing that you have within you to just love God and just worship and just have that personal relationship through that lens yourself. They strip you of all types of rights to do that, and all type of kind of free thought and autonomous thinking. And guys, what you need to understand is, when autonomy goes, critical thinking, ability to think for yourself, make your own decisions, this, that, and that, you're completely cut off from God. I need everybody to understand that. You're completely cut off from God, and that's where they want you to be, because they want you to they want to indoctrinate you through a reform program. And yeah, a lot of what they then start to do is they start to label creativity, free thought, doing things yourself, this and that, being they label it as independent and make it negative. So there's now negative connotations with it, and they start to use Bible characters, you know, characters from the Bible, and saying, oh, they had an independent spirit. You know, Absalom had an independent, disloyal spirit. Judas had an independent, betraying spirit, whatever, disloyal. You know, and they start to bring, do you see how they start to manipulate and indoctrinate us and bringing in false doctrine? Yeah. And that's through the transcendent belief systems, because these belief systems are there. And whether, you know, just in Christianity in general, they all believe in the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. They all believe in Jesus Christ. You know, it's all the same. But when they start to bring in these very false doctrines and they start to mix it, this is where they start to manipulate and gaslight and twist. And, you know, it begins to mean different things to them. So this is why I said, I'm not coming here, do you get what I'm trying to say, to try and, you know, save anyone in the church and do whatever, because they're so heavily and severely indoctrinated, and it's through the canon Bible. It makes it so hard to unpack and unpick. The only person that can do that is self. I don't believe in a false God. I'm not worshiping myself like the pastors, so I don't think I have the power to do anything for anybody. Do I have information, knowledge, and guidance to share for us to all, you know, kind of learn together in a collective space and share truths and fact, because it's not just me talking. There's survivors that are speaking in the comments as we speak. Do you get what I'm saying? Survivors come on, share their truth. It's not a dictatorship. Do you get what I'm saying? But, and there's another thing I want to talk about with Daddy Beans, but I'm going to read this comment. So on TikTok, T's saying, sowing financial seed for breakthroughs or to fight spiritual battles is false. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, now we're here. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, now it's come to this. Do you get what I'm saying? Where you've got people like Jeremiah Babatunde. Do you know what I mean? Like, doing up World Changers Network, calling himself a prophet. Do you get what I'm saying? Like that, like, it's just like anyone. And that's what I said. And do you know what this World Changers Network, what this church personifies? It personifies what I've been talking about, that anyone can just get up. You know, I had a girl that I know very well that sent me a video of one pastor. I can't even remember the church, and said, Leah, I got some major tea on this one. I know about him. I was like, oh, yeah. Another one of these very similar churches to the World Changers Network. So when you're asking me about a cult, guys, yeah, a cult, obviously, there's specific characteristics that make up a cult, right? But what you need to understand is, if the leader of any church, any religious organization, whatever, is a narcissist, then you're going to find very similar characteristics that will meet those same characteristics of a cult. Does that make sense? Because of the control, because of the supply, because of the ego, because of the reverence and the infallible truth. But what you might find is you may get a church where the pastor is just he might have like oh God, how do I say this on TikTok? It's so sensitive. But basically, it may have traits of a cult, but it may not be like a full-blown cult. Does that make sense? And that is because the cult leader is a narcissist. And most of them are. Most of the men that are in these positions, they are mainly narcissists, just like doctors, like CEOs. I'm not saying all doctors, but I'm saying like narcissists are attracted to these types of roles. It's facts. They're attracted to these type of roles where they can be in like, high positions, and they can just basically play God. Do you get what I'm saying? Because like a doctor, yeah, and my cult leader is a doctor and he claims he's a healer and he claims he's a prophet. Like Dag's insane. You see, my cult leader, it's like no one understands. I mean, it's an absolutely different level. Do you know what I mean? Because he's a doctor by profession. He's wanting to go and do up the doctor. And then so it's like two elements. Like he feels like he's God, like in the physical plane where he can like actually save lives, and then he feels like he can raise people from the unalivement and he can heal people. Do you get what I'm saying? So he's like a healer doctor. It's mad, you lot. I'm telling you that these grandiose ideologies that Dag has of himself is absolutely crazy. I don't know how anybody could still be in that cult after being in there for 10 plus years and say that they can't see that they absolutely worship Dag in there. It's ridiculous. In the Bible, it says we will know them by their fruit, so we shouldn't be under anyone like that. Yeah, but you know how it gets. Hedgen Mastermind, can you please put what it is that you want to say? Because I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, and I'm on Instagram. Yeah. So if you're gonna come onto this live, because I do this in real life. I'm not a social media influencer. I'm a social justice activist using free platforms at the same time to get my message out and across. So what I'm gonna ask you, my love, is if you could put in the comments what it is that you want to contribute to this live. Because for me to pull you up and then I'm having to manage this across all three for you to come up and speak human fecal matter, I don't have time for. I'm gonna keep it real. So if you could, are you a survivor, number one? And what do you want to come on to say? Is it the church cult? Is it your experiences? People don't just come up on this live. Yeah, it's a protected space. It's a safe space for survivors. So back onto the daddy issues. Another thing as well that I wanted to talk about is the stereotypical rhetoric and ideology that they have in these spaces where it's like, oh, it's just the women that have daddy issues. Let's talk about the men that have daddy issues. Oh no, oh God, oh no, we're not going to do that. Seldom and rarely did we do what's his name? Wale Babatunde. No, what's his name? Jeremiah Babatunde. I would really love to know like what the relationship dynamic was like with your daddy. Yeah, are you a pastor's kid? Because we all know how messed up they are. Hey, morning, girl. Are you a pastor's kid? Do you get what I'm saying? Was daddy just never around? Like, what's your story? Because these pastors love to talk about trauma from a feminine lens. They love to talk about daddy issues from a feminine lens. They love to talk about adultery from a feminine lens. Oh yeah, it's the woman, isn't it? It's the strange woman. It's the Jezebel. She seduces the man and lures him away and wants to destroy his ministry. And she prowls around the churches looking for him. Oh, whatever. Most of the preds in there are males, Jen. You know, I saw this TikTok post the other day, yeah, and it was a woman. She was saying something like, women can only have one baby every 9 months, yeah, but a man can impregnate as many women as he wants in 9 months. So why is it that contraception, it falls within, like for the woman to take the contraception? And I just sat there and I was like, whew. And then I quoted, we're in a misogynistic society, that's why. And it's just like this thing, like now, as you go back to, like, it's such a misogynistic, patriarchal society, just in the world that we're living in within itself. Then when you go into like these self-sealing systems, and we're now in these church cults, it's magnified. Do you understand? Because now you're in a self-sealing system. We're all sardines in a tin. And they've got a very historical, archaic, outdated lens of women's rights. There's no women's rights. There's no women's rights in these church cults. There's no women's rights. That's why the pastors love to mess around with their members, because they don't see women as humans. And, you know, throughout history, guys, you know, we talk a lot about different atrocities that have happened throughout time. And, you know, and as terrible as they are, like slavery and, you know, that just, I can't TikTok sensitive. But what we really haven't spoken about is just like women, like, you know, like women were the first slaves, you know, seen as, you know, inferior and second to man. There's a lot of history that's been, there's a lot of EVILs, guys, that have happened to women over time throughout history. Our history has been deleted. It's been changed. It's been manipulated. You know, when you look at like certain inventions, you know, that there were a lot of women that invented amazing things without which we wouldn't have, you know, the world as we know it now. But a man took credit for it. Why? Because women were seen as abnormal. They weren't seen as anything. They were seen as lower than animals. To rear children and be a slave. So that's why, me personally, I don't wish to be someone's wife. Do you know what I mean? Like men have no power over me, and this is why the church HATE women like me, because you can't control us. And you can't have, there's no power. You see, men don't have power over me. We're in a patriarchal, misogynistic matrix. And I don't bow down to that matrix, and I don't bow down to the social constructs of what a woman should be. I don't do that. I'm totally myself in my feminine energy, and I'm not afraid to be who I am. And the thing is, women like this have been demonized all throughout history. All throughout history. And that's why when they talk about daddy issues in the context of the church cult, and guys, if you want to start getting together your questions soon, if you have any for me, I mean, like, wow, because I'm gonna go soon. It's always from the lens of like a female that's got these daddy issues. But the reason why I don't think that they talk about men as much is because the malignant narcissists, a lot of the time, they have deep rooted father wounds that has led to their rejection and their projection, and the reason why they want to build these big churches and get the validation. They want everybody to call them daddy and papa, and do you know what I mean? Because they need the validation. It's a form of supply for them, because they've never felt safe. They've never felt loved by their dad. Do you get what I'm saying? So they feel like they need to be that for the members, because then it's like that. It's like a sick it's like a sick way of like trying to soothe, because it's not healing, it's trying to soothe the inner child wounds. Do you get what I'm saying? And instead of them doing the healing, what they do is they manipulate and siphon off others' energy, and they break people down to do that, to maintain control. That's why you don't get like strong people in these settings. You don't get like strong, high powered. You always get people that are under the cult leaders derriere, that are following around, like, you know, that's what you'll get in there. You'll get a bunch of followers. You won't get leaders. And anyone that comes in with that type of leader role, they're strong, with opinionated, always asking questions, whatever, challenging things in the system, whatever, they get branded as mad and get pushed out, because they'd rather not have a person like that in the system than someone coming and asking all the questions, because you're supposed to follow. You're supposed to follow the rules. You're supposed to follow blindly. You're supposed to follow the system. No one is supposed to question the system. You're supposed to flow. That's what they'll say in these, brother, sister, flow. You're flowing, cry. You're flowing. That flowy thing. It's cult jargon. That's why they have cult jargon, because things like that, it reinforces the culture of obedience, subservience. Like, you lot can't try me, innit? Morning, HJ. I'm too G'd up. Where do you think I get these things from? The way I'm able to break this down and explain it. Do you get what I'm saying? This isn't normal. Yeah. So the daddy issues is did I say morning, HJ? I don't know did I say morning? The daddy issues thing, it's not spoken about enough from a male lens. And maybe if it was, then we would see less of these malignant narcissists that have deep-rooted father wounds throwing their toys outside of the pram every single time something goes slightly wrong in the church. So if people, not enough souls haven't been brought to the church cult, do you know why your leaders flip out on you and they start doing all of that? Because you see that the mega churches and a lot of people coming and whatever, it validates the cult leader. It's a form of supply for them. It feeds the ego. So when they're expecting, hey, J Dreads, when they're expecting like the church to be filled, and half of that church is filled, that's when they start to get angry. You see the anger come up, the so-called rebuke. The rebuke is their anger. And remember, because it's a pyramid scheme and it's coming from, it's like the top heavy, it's coming from the top down. By the time it gets to your pastor, he's so like battered psychologically that they're just now laying into you, and you get the worst of it. You get the brunt of it because it's come down by about 4 layers by the time it's come down to you. So that's why really, you know, the ones who get it the most are like the high ranking closest to the pastors, because we're the ones who have to carry a lot of secrets. So for example, say like if you're going to lose the building, it will be like oh, look at HJ back in it, thanks bro. It will be like the main like codes to the pastor. Like there might be 10 up or 5 up, and they will know about the fact that, okay, they're kicking us out of this venue, we got 7 days to get out, we got to find a venue, and it'll be them having to carry the weight and the burden, because that's happened to me, but it just fell on me, not anyone else. And I had to find the venue, and I had about, I think it was a week to do it in. And it's that kind of pressure where now I've got to find this venue, otherwise everyone's going to be out on the streets for church on Sunday, and it all rests on me. It all lays on me to find this venue. So guys, the pressure and the tasks and the things that you've got to do and the skills you've got to have to do up what they require is absolutely insane. It's impossible. So because they know they're trying to make the impossible possible, and they're putting undue pressure and stress on people, yeah, that they start to bring in the transcendent belief system. All things are possible through Christ Jesus, who strengthens you. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is it? Nothing is impossible. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, be removed, and it will be moved. You know, they start to bring in all of these scriptures where they're just manipulating the hell out of it for you to just lay that out for them. So Jay Dreads, oh, that's a very good question. Jay Dreads has asked, Jay Dreads, am I looking all right on the recording? Because I'm in a funny position on Instagram and I can't really see. I hope I look all right. Why do you think that church cults still exist today? And do you know why this is such a brilliant question? Because my whole thinking and ideology behind why I don't put energy and time into trying breaking down a church or bringing down it or getting people out, Captain Saver who trying to go there and get everybody out, is exactly because of that, because church cults will always exist. As long as there is a need for humankind, where there is trauma, there is a mental health need or a mental health crisis, you're going to see these spaces being filled up, unfortunately, because the most traumatized, vulnerable people with, it's a vicious cycle, Uncle Robs. It really is. It really is. And then you have to think, guys, because I'm coming from like guys, I'm coming from what we call in my field a biopsychosocial lens. I'm looking at it from every element and area that you could possibly think of, yeah. And when I'm doing that, I'm seeing it from a societal lens where, we look at it from the UK, yeah, so it's not too wide. We've got a mental health epidemic, we've got a mental health crisis, we've got an NHS crisis, we've got what is he a prime minister who's a conservative in a red seat and he's fooled us and got in there, and now he's trying to cut all of these critical benefits for people that absolutely need it to survive. It's absolutely crumbling and falling apart around us. So what hope is there? To worship you I live, to worship you I live to worship you. Someone just cry out to the Lord this evening. I worship you, my Lord. Just cry out to the Lord, he hears your prayers. I worship you, my Lord. I live to worship you. Whoa, someone just cry out to the Lord this evening. Whoa, all of that musical, mystical manipulation, all of that. Yeah. So you've got people who are in, absolutely traumatic situations. Imagine you're me. You've just lost your boyfriend. You're 19. You're stepping into the church and you're hearing, what was that song that always used to get me? Oh, your love, oh Lord, is higher than the reaches to the sky. You are my hope like no other. Hope like no other reaches to me. You are my strength like no other. Strength like no other reaches to me, and in the fullness of your grace, and by the power of your name, you lift me up, Jesus. You lift me up. You are my hope like no other. Imagine you've just lost your boyfriend and you're 19 years old and you step into the church and that's the song that you hear. That's the song that you hear. That's emotional manipulation. Do you understand what I'm saying? J Dreads, can you hear me? So it's like you're just getting wrapped up. You're wrapped up now. So you're going to tell me, that's why I'm saying I know what I'm talking about. When I say that RPF, that ministry is using praise and worship through musical, mystical manipulation, I know what I'm talking about. That's exactly what they do up in there. They use musical, mystical manipulation. Do you know, as I was singing that song, as deep in worship as I was, I could hear my pastor saying, speed it up. The drums, it's too slow, because then the song drags. So that's the temp that it should be in, yeah. But in the cult, they'll be making me sing it at, you are my hope like no other, hope like no other reaches to me. You know, like to speed it up for the congregation to come in with the work. You know, everything is premeditated. Everything is done in a way, you know, where it's manipulated. It's all manipulation. I need to add 1 second, guys. I think my alarm, I don't know if this is going to mess up my recording on Insta now. I have a feeling that it will. Oh, it's paused. Okay, J Dreads, can you hear me now, my love? Yeah, okay. El Pimpiano is saying the frequency makes a big difference. Yeah, girl, and they manipulate everything like that. They think it's all evil. Thanks, guys, for all your comments. I was just deep in worship because I just remember that song, you know, and I just felt like at that time, I felt like I didn't have a hope. I felt like I didn't have strength. My boyfriend had just unalived. I was so young. I didn't know whether I was coming or going. And when I heard that song, it just resonated with me so much. It just touched my heart. Imagine just hearing, you are my hope like no other. Your mum's just unalived. Hope like no other reaches to me. Whatever low situation you're in, whatever devastating, in whatever it is, you know, you hear that song and it just touches your soul. And even, guys, I've even disassociated going into that song, because when I sing that song, I'm right back at North K. I can remember the first day I went there, I was wearing a black hat and I was crying my eyes out. I was just pouring my eyes out. I was just crying and crying. It was just a river of tears. I just couldn't stop crying. And, you know, they'll be like, oh, it's the Holy Spirit. It's the Holy Spirit. But I was just so I had so much trauma, and it was like I was connecting with God, like, you are my hope, you are my strength, you're going to get me through this. Yeah, that song covers all vulnerabilities, girl. They'll probably start singing it now that I've done it on the live. You'll probably see it in praise and worship next week because they listen to everything I say. Oh, he moved on to TikTok. Something's going on my Instagram, guys. All right, so the recording's messed up, J Dreads. Oh, okay, J Dreads, where are you on TikTok then? All right, I'm gonna come off Insta then so that we can get a good recording of the first part. Just gonna take a deep breath. Thank you, Pimpiana. I do have a podcast, but I need to just get back onto it, to be honest. I do, because there's just, thank you, Haynes. I was waiting for the block. So what I'm saying to you guys is there's a lot of, it's a religious organization, guys. It's very strategic behind the scenes. You know what I mean? We're rehearsing these songs. The pastors are telling us, what songs to do. They know the songs that's going to make people get up and give the offerings. They know, like they used to say, oh, sing a good song. Like, so every praise and worship leader would have songs in her arsenal. Yeah. Like she would have certain songs. We would have certain songs that we would learn to kind of, if there was like a healing ministration or, around like deliverance, that type of thing, where we needed the spirit to move, there would be certain songs that we would sing, mainly like the Benny Hinn songs. And then if we were going to do up like they might want a particular praise and worship song to bring in, to get the people to get up and give. And then my song always used to be, home is heaven. One day, Lord, I will live in your courts. You find me in worship at your feet. Hide me now in the shadow of your wings. That's where we'll be. Oh Lord. That's where we'll be. Somebody say home. 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 Somebody say home, because the praise and worship, any good praise and worship leader, they will know the scriptures, because every praise and worship, how I was brought up, because nowadays they're letting anyone sing praise and worship. The 304s are singing praise and worship. The people who are getting their backs blown out in Essex University by multiple of the mandem are now doing up praise and worship and solos and whatever. But back in my day, it was very strict. So I can't even remember what I was saying, guys. I'm just disassociating, jail. Yeah, you used to have to know scriptures. For every song that you learn, you used to have to know a scripture to go to that song. And then my pastor, my spiritual father was like, you have to edify the people. So it's like, so you see, like when they're singing and then they say, now turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, I am gonna thank you, my babe. I am gonna be planted in the house of the Lord. I'm gonna be planted in the house of the Lord. And I am gonna worship God like I am gonna give Satan a run for his money. They just come in and say rubbish, or they might say, because I used to be obsessed. I used to sit there and watch videos. My pastor used to give me video, because back then it was DVDs, innit? The internet wasn't like how it was. And so I used to listen to the Love Center, Mass Choir, Brooklyn, like and Hillsong, Darlene Check, because Dagwood Mills we only used to sing Hillsong praise and worship, child. So when I'm doing praise and worship, it sounds very Hillsongy. Like, I love you, Lord, and yes, Lord, we need you, Lord, yes, Lord. What you'll notice is, with the praise and worship, it's what the pastor likes. I'm going to do a whole series on this. So what you'll find is, because Daggy Boy, my cult leader, he's half Swiss and half Ghanaian. But remember, he's got real father wounds and daddy issues, child. So he's more with his whitey side. So he likes the Hill songs and the Maranatha singers and the Andre Crouch and whatever. But when you look at RPF, you can see that Pastor Austin's into that kind of Nathaniel Bassey with the brass instruments, like very kind of like, like Nigerian worship, which is beautiful. African worship, Nigerian, like cultural work is absolutely stunning. Don't get it twisted, chair. I used to love me a bit. And Nathaniel Bassey would take me to realms. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, so don't get it twisted. I'm not, you get me? Thank you, Maggie. But you see with RPF, like the style of their praise and worship is more, it's geared towards the pastor's palate. And you'll see that. So in NGRM, their praise and worship is a little bit more Americanized, because they're into that, like the African American kind of the way they do Pentecostalism and church out there. Yeah. So that's why I was literally listening to Darlene Check, and I was learning all the Hillsong songs, because that's what we used to sing in the church cult. So, that's why I say when it comes to praise and worship, can't nobody test me, babe. Give me a microphone tomorrow. Like, let's go toe to toe. Like, that's what I do outside in these streets. It's praise and worship. That's what I am. Praise and worship leader in the cut. There's no one that can come and has any chat for me. Absolutely no chat when it comes to praise and worship, chat. And another thing that they used to make us do up, because bring your best praise and worship leader. Bring your best. You think it's about the voice? I'm going to teach you today, baby. My voice, having the voice is a bonus. Having the voice is a bonus. Having the voice is a bonus. And the thing is, guys, you see, with the, oh God, I'm disassociating. This is so hard. Guys, I don't think you understand how hard this is for me to do, to talk about my praise and worship era, because praise and worship, it helps, like, I would say it's like 80% of the church. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's like the choir is teaching, the choir teaching groups, having singing, like the singing, especially if the pastor, like Pastor Austin, he's an instrumentalist, he's an artist himself. So he will be very, very hands-on with the praise and worship and the choir and everything in that church. I know he will, because he's got a musical ear. He plays an instrument. So he can't have a human fecal matter praise and worship and a choir, because he hears parts. Instrumentalists, they're the best people to hear parts. Instrumentalists, they don't need to know how to sing, but they could compose a song because they hear parts and they can put pieces of music together and whatever. They're a genius in their own realm. So that's how I know Pastor Austin's very sly. How has your relationship with music been affected by your experiences? That's a really good question, Maggie. In the beginning, it affected it really badly. I couldn't listen to any worship. And you have to understand, like, but one thing I'm so thankful for is that they forbade us from listening to worldly music, child. Because when you come out of that church cult setting, it's the so-called evil worldly music that you're running back to try and get some healing, child. So in the beginning, I felt that music was just sinful, because they set you up to fail in there. They make you codependent on the system. They make you form trauma bonds with the pastor and the structures in the system. So when they discard you and they've left you for unalivement now, how do you function? Because the music that you used to listen to in there triggers you. Now the music, they're telling you, because they're doing us versus them. So they've demonized the world. So now you're thinking that an evil spirit's going to enter you or something when you listen to worldly music. You don't want to go. You're feeling like a sinner when you listen to a little worldly music and have a little red. You're feeling like you're going to go to HELL. Like that is how much they get into your head. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Mad Alicia, that's how they get into your head. So it's like, I was just afraid of all types of music until I stumbled across an angel called Cleo Soul. Praise and worship and choir have scared me. The all-night rehearsals, the 24 hours to learn a hard song vocally. You know what? The pressure that they put on our vocal cords was absolutely crazy. And I'm going to get into your comment after, girl, because I think it's so important. Because, I can't talk about Cleo without singing one of her songs. What song should I sing? Why don't you just let go and quiet down your ego? Don't complain about finance. I know your daddy wasn't a real man. Go ahead and live your dreams. With me, you're stronger than a whole team. I know you can't relax, and you don't want me to know that. I see you work real hard. You want to help your friends, but trust me, baby, you don't owe them. Oh, what? Are you mad? Oh! Cleo Soul, yeah. She's got so many beautiful songs that when I heard her music, I just fell in love with music all over again. And I really hope I get to meet her one day and tell her, like, because it's not just me, it's the survivors as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of survivors have been healed, and, you just put on her music. Let me see if I can find my remote. Let's put on a bit of Cleo, because Cleo has, and I've done a few pieces around her music as well. So it was through Cleo Soul and through, and again, I had to rediscover myself. I had to rediscover the genre of music I liked, because I didn't know the genre of music. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know what I liked, because you come out there, you're just listening to the cult leaders' music. So then I started to look at like Black classical music and Yusuf Days, and it just turned into this beautiful experience of me exploring this pool of a variety of music and range of sounds and beautiful instruments and beautiful artists that are more like underground. You know, I could go on and on and on and on and on and on forever. That I just found a new love for music, and music heals my soul. So one of the reasons why I'm still standing is because I heal through frequencies of music. So that was my saving grace. And that's another reason why I left the sound doctrinal church that I was attending for a bit as well, because when I told him that they've ruined my worship experience, and you know, this was my survival mechanism, you know, through worship and getting into that state and being able to communicate with God through that way. And the pastor turned around and said to me, oh, worship is not just about singing. And I get it, but he kind of shrugged it off and said, that's not how we worship. And you've got to be able to worship without music or something like that. And it just put me off. And I just thought, ooh, I don't think you understand, Chow. You don't understand where I'm coming from, Chow. You don't understand. Yeah, thanks for the follows, guys. Could you please follow my main account as well? I've got a main account, Leah Lauder 7 on TikTok, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to stop my main account from growing on here. So I can't get to 10K. They don't want me to get to 10K. So this is the account. I'm actually restricted on there currently, so I can't even log on live. But yeah, so basically, let's go into Mad Alicia's comments, because we used to have all night choir rehearsals where we'd have to learn all of these songs. And guys, it would be from like 6 p.m. You'd be coming straight from work till 6 a.m. the next morning. Women would be there with babies on their back, you know, like back in them. Pregnant women with swollen feet standing the whole time, kids running around everywhere, kids sleeping on chairs with a tiny little blanket where all the breeze is coming through. And you have to understand, there were women who were seasoned. So they've been doing these rehearsals for like 10 years. So they'll be coming with practical sleeping bags for the child. You know what I mean? Like big, like, you know, like, flasks. You know, like the women who cared about their kids, they would come with the flask. The other women would just have their kids running around in there, boy. And the thing is, yeah, if the people have come and it's like your first time and you're bringing your child, you don't know what to expect. You don't know that people are going to put out their whole kids like on the chair to sleep. Like, guys, it's mad. There's a lot of child abuse that goes on in there as well. I've sung with tonsillitis. I've known people to be singing with laryngitis, all different types of, you know, throat stuff. Because if you say, oh, pastor, I'm sorry, pastor, I can't sing today because I have been prescribed antibiotics because I have tonsillitis. They'll be like, oh, where is your faith? Where's your faith in God? Where's your faith in God to believe that the Lord will heal you? Or they'll say that you're disloyal. You've got an independent spirit. You know, now you think you're the only one that can sing. You think you're the only one that has a talent in here. You think you're the only one that can be used by God. And now you are saying because of tonsillitis that you can't sing for God. So who should sing all the songs then? You know, like, it's just, there's no care for people's well-being, and they don't care. And again, they want you to do what you've got to do. They don't care how ill you are. They don't care about your well-being. They care about the fact that they've got this event. And it's never going to be a question of oh, you know, oh, I'm going to tell the pastor that I've got this cold so I can't sing. It's never going to be that, because you're going to be seen as disloyal. It's like they have like unspoken laws and codes. So, you know, you're going to be called an orangu as much as your throat is cracking. You have to go there and push your throat to the absolute limit. There's a survivor that's got like lumps or something still on her throat to this day because of how hard they pushed her. Yeah. There's survivors that are dealing with, you know, there's going to be like life, like my voice was rinsed out, child. All right. Thanks for the gifts, guys. All right. Yeah, there's no time off for anyone, girl. In them environments, you don't get no time off. It's all or nothing, child. It's all or nothing in there, girl. You gotta give blood, sweat, and tears, and you gotta be performing at the same level every single day consistently, whether it's for 10 years, 12 years, because they talk about people like they fall off or they give in to the sins and temptations of the world. It's not that you're getting older and you've had kids now and your health has started to go. They don't care. If your health starts to deteriorate when you're in there, they just discard them. Do you know how many old people there are, like OGs in their 40s and their 50s, that they're divorced now and they've got a plethora of life lifelong. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? Like chronic illnesses. Oh, thanks, Firebird Box. Firebird Box is telling me keep going, Leah. The cults are running scared. Thanks. Yeah, and you can tell through the content that they're putting out. And I can tell by the empty seats in their church. So what's the difference between a cult and a church? So what I'm going to say to you guys is, again, I can't really, well, I can define it, but I'm defining it in my book. I'm going to say, because this question is not simple to answer. So I'm going to put it back at you I'm going to say a little bit, but for you to look into as well, because what you need to be doing up is you need to be looking into the characteristics of a cult. Guys, I don't like the way I'm looking on YouTube. Sorry. So I'm going to be looking at YouTube, but I'm talking to you guys as well. So when we're looking at characteristics of a cult, we're really looking at, that there has to be a charismatic leader. There has to be a charismatic leader with that type of structure where there's like everybody's looking up to this charismatic leader like he's the infallible truth. Thanks for the gifts, Nat. And so there's also inordinate amounts of your time, us versus them, isolation, etc. What I do want to highlight here is the Stephen Hassan bite model. If you're in doubt, guys, go and look up Stephen Hassan's bite model, but not the bite model, actually, the influence continuum, because the influence continuum has to be looked at alongside the bite model so that you can understand healthy influence and negative influence. And at the end of the day, we could just look at a church as a group of people. The pastor can have influence over those members. So we're going to look at it through the lens of influence, because there's no real definitions out there to define what a church cult is until I write my book. And again, with what a church what a healthy church looks like, we can go to scriptures for that, but we're keeping this as a non-religious space. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at it through the lens of psychology, cult psychology, through the lens of influence. Thank you, George Dixon. I appreciate you. Oh, thank you. He says he watches all my shows. Appreciate you. So with Stephen Hassan's bite model, we've got the negative and we've got the positive influence that runs across that continuum. And it's looking at what positive influence across an authoritarian structure looks like and what negative influence looks like. 1 second, let me pull it up, guys. Because seeing as though I'm talking about it, we might as well just get it up so I can talk about this properly. All right, fantastic. All right. So we've got the influence continuum. This is a model that's been coined by Stephen Hassan. Yeah, you know what, girl? I'll do some quick content on it afterwards because it's about time. I'll do a quick little 2-minute vid, yeah? Because I should start doing that, like just power stuff, like power 1-minuters on different things, like, influence continuum, bite model, like behavior, this, that. So I'll start doing that, girl. So we've got the influence continuum. We've got the what constructive and healthy influence looks like with a healthy structure. And then we've got what destructive and unhealthy influence looks like. Okay. So what a healthy church should look like, you should be able to be your authentic self. There should be unconditional love. There should be compassion, conscience. And this is for individuals. This is how you should be feeling at an individual level. Creativity and humor, free will, critical thinking. Do you see that this doesn't say what a healthy church looks like? But even people on the outside, they've got more common sense than us, because we want to run to the canon Bible and be doing up scriptures that they can manipulate and twist. So what we need to be doing up is going with critical, rationale thinking and psychology in the cup. So then we've got what else constructive, healthy authoritarianism looks like, not authoritarianism, sorry, influence looks like here. We've got psychologically healthy. Okay, psychologically healthy. So you shouldn't be going in there feeling anxious. You shouldn't be going in there, your stomach's all churned up. You're not knowing what the pastor's going to say. You're not knowing if they're going to rebuke you today, if they're going to love you, if they're going to hate you, you don't know. You're walking on eggshells, Jer. You're in fight or flight. You don't know if the pastor's wife's going to come in a bad mood because they got into a little tiff that morning. Because it becomes really weird, because you start to look at them like spiritual mother and father. And so you start to get involved in their petty arguments and their washed up marriages. So when they're in there, they've got into their arguments, it's like the lady pastor will be talking to you and the pastor will be talking to his Cody, his G that follows him everywhere around. And then the pastor's wife will be talking to me. Do you get what I'm saying? It's mad. It gets intense in it. You got to carry them like an emotional crutch, child. They're like kids. They're like a bunch of kids in there. So knows owns limits, empowers individuals, trustworthy, accountable. Egalitarianism, yeah, so that's the opposite of authoritarianism, guys. Yeah, so freedom, liberty, etc. Freedom of speech, yeah. checks and balances, informed consent, individuality, diversity, means create ends, encourages growth, and free to leave. So that is at an organizational level, guys, and relational level. Yeah, what I just said. So I'm going to say it again because I've kind of messed it up a bit. So for leaders, is psychologically healthy, knows own limits, empowers individuals, trustworthy and accountable. That's at a leadership level across that continuum. Then when you go into influence in a healthy, through a healthy lens on an organizational level, we're looking at egalitarianism, we're looking at checks and balances. Remember I said that an unjust balance is an abomination. So it's about that balance. It's not about black and white thinking and the scales being highly tipped, up in favor of, the cult leader and whatever. There needs to be a balance. There needs to be a very balanced structure. Informed consent. So again, these cults don't have a clue what informed consent looks like. They don't get you to sign anything. They just pass on people's details like no tomorrow, and they just use the young people in all their content. Do you know that's why I use their content? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because you're like, oh, how does she get away with using the content? Because why are you doing it? Why do you think it's appropriate to be putting up a 14-year-old and did you get permission from her parents? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about, babes? Then when I did my social experiment, when I was going up and going to speak to young people on the street, and the young people that I spoke to, I got informed consent from them before. I checked that they were 16 years old. Do you get what I'm trying to say? In sixth form. So what are you talking about, babe? You don't have 13-year-olds that you're using in your promos. Absolutely crazy. Did you get informed consent? So now on the destructive, unhealthy lens. Oh, what was the other one to read other than the bite model? The influence continuum. This is what I'm doing up now, Emanuela, my love. So I'm talking about the influence continuum against the bite model. If I've got the strength and energy to come back on later, I'll talk about the bite model, and then I will talk about the bite model across the influence continuum to explain how you use it in conjunction with the bite model, and how you can deconstruct and deprogram against the psychological tactics that they used against you across those 4 different themes: behavior, information, thought, and emotional. But if I don't do it tonight, I'll do it tomorrow morning. So I will do it. It's just, if it's not going to be tonight, it'll be in the morning. Okay, my love. So for the destructive and the unhealthy lens, what we've got here at an individual level is that it's false cult identity jail. So at an individual level, you get everybody walking around like robots. You get everybody acting, talking, speaking, walking the same as each other, acting like the cult leader. Okay. Conditional love. So remember I said it's very transactional, and this is why the single married couples in there are the most dangerous of them all, because they are in conditional, transactional love, fake love agreements and arrangements, jail. So you get the most, oh gosh, you'll get the most bitter people. But not so much the men, because they spend their days getting thrills out of looking at the young girls. If they don't take it to an essay kind of pred level, they'll just get a kick out of finding out about, the girl's history before she came, how many people she's been with, etc. Because they're very intrusive and they get in your business. I think they get like thrills out of it, the pastors. And there's also been the females also do it. They also move to the young, healthy gentlemen in there and start to speak to them about their past and how many rounds and stuff that they could do. And they send inappropriate messages and pics to the young males in the church. Yeah, so that's what's going on. So HATE, ciao, we doing eyes and all sorts in the cut. So HATE, and that's what they are. They're a bunch of haters. Do you know what I mean? Like no one's genuinely happy for you in there. When someone gets a beloved, the rest of the girls are crying, oh Lord, how long will I have to wait? Like no one's happy for each other. Everyone's just hating on each other in there, child. Just like stepping on necks and throats, child, to climb to the top. Thanks, Ines. I was just thinking I'm going to go, and I've got a feeling to go, so I don't get a warning on here. So let me quickly go through it. So the false doctrine, the fear and guilt, dependency and obedience. That's at an individual level. Dependency and obedience, share. Then at the leadership level, we've got narcissistic, psychopathic, elitist, grandiose, power hungry, secretive, deceptive, claims absolute authority. Woo! That's Daggy with Mills. So when you start to see these traits in the cult leader, then that's when you know it's a cult and it's not a church. Yeah. So is this making sense for who asks the difference between a church and a cult? And I'm going to do a vid on this because I've been thinking, oh, how do I break this down? But Stephen Hassan's done it for us already. And the great thing is Stephen Hassan came from the cult Moonies. So I think it is a bit of a wacky backy. It's got parts of, I think Christian theology in there, hasn't it? Is it making sense? Fantastic. Then we've got at the organizational level and in a relational level, so relationships, we've got elitism. So remember I said that they create elitist groups in the cult. So all the pastors' kids will be together, all the high-ranking members and pastors' kids, and then it will be very hard to get into those, the upper inner echelons of the, the upcoming elitists. Because remember that there's nepotism in there. So with Dag, his family is the royal family. The cult leader will have, there's like a legacy. It's like, and usually the sons have got the name like, Joshua Eward Mills, or, it will be like the cult leader's name, Junior. You know what I'm saying? So like Dag Eward Mills Jr. or whatever, they do mad stuff in their jail. Then we've got deceptive, manipulative, authoritarian structure, clones people. Oh my God. When I read Stephen Hassan, it's like, oh my gosh, guys, his theories and stuff, it TURNS's me on, because I'm a sapiosexual. So, oh gosh. And have you not seen Stephen Hassan? That's what I'm saying. I would go out on a date with him. I don't know if he's married, but I would. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not into like looks, or that's what I'm saying. But I F with the geniuses too, like give me an Albert Einstein any day, Joe. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you got to be able to stimulate my mind first. That's the thing. That's why I haven't been ran through with all the man them, because I'm an intelligent woman. Do you get what I'm saying? You have to stimulate my mind first before we can move into other things. All right. So ends justify means. We've got preserves own power, and we've got no legitimate reason to leave. Yeah. Whew. So that's like excommunication when you put in fear. So I will do a little bit of content on this, like a 2-minute video, 1 minute, 30 seconds, breaking down the influence continuum, because it is a really important model. And this is why I need my playlist, guys. So TikTok, if you're not following me on there, please follow me on my main account. I need to get up to 10K. Share my ish, man. Support your home girl. I'm gonna go now, guys. Did I not? If I haven't answered your question, and you've asked me a question, can you just pin it? They inflict fear if you consider leaving too. Yeah, T. So that's the excommunication. Yeah, girl. Sister, you are in the spirit. You are in the flow of the spirit of things. Guys, I'm going to go. I really thank God that this life has survived. I really thank God. I thank God. I thank the Lord. So I'm going to go now, my loves. I might be back on later, though. You might catch me, actually, on the school run, or if you don't see me on later, guys, and you see me pushing out content, I'll be on in the morning. I forgot I was on YouTube. You lot are seeing all my fingers and everything, but you know what, it's real life, man. I care. All right, guys, love y'all. I hope that the content has helped. We've spoken a bit about daddy issues, then we've gone into the influence continuum. We've looked at many tactics and characteristics. The video, this live is on YouTube, yeah? Because, sometimes you get off the live and you think, oh, I don't really remember some, or I want to go and, re-watch it for it to, like, really get into the psyche. Guys, it's all on YouTube. I got playlists on there. I got a shorter recording on Instagram. I've got playlists and highlights on Instagram. I've got playlists on my YouTube. So go and check out my YouTube channel. And if you haven't subscribed, guys, please do subscribe as well. This work is all to do with awareness, really pushing the message out there, and getting it into the airwaves of the world so that people can understand the difference between churches and cults. So thank you so much. My name's been Leah Lauder, Mega Church Cult Survivor. I don't know why I'm going on brand new, guys. I know that you know me, but Oh, thanks for the follow, girl. Lauren, can you please follow Leah Lauder 7? If I see a name, I always try to pronounce it as I think it should be pronounced. So Lauren, if you could please follow my main account, that would be greatly appreciated. I would love it. Je m'appelle Leah, qu'est-ce que tu as fait? Je habite à Longchamp. That's all I know, Chair. But when I go to France, Chair, and I start speaking like that, the French man them start going, I don't know what you're talking about, babe. I just know qu'est-ce que tu as fait? Du basket? There's like little things I know, Chair. But anyway, thank you so much for the follows on TikTok. YouTube, thank you so much. I love y'all. I'm going to go now, guys. But please follow me up on the main account, and I'll see y'all later. Love y'all. Love y'all, YouTube. I'll see you later. Thank you so much for being on. I appreciate you. Bye.